At first light, the river looks empty, just a sheet of cold water sliding between tea-stained banks, carrying the scent of wet eucalyptus downstream. A thin mist hangs low above the surface, drifting between reeds and fallen branches, like steam rising from an old kettle. This is the kind of scene people romanticize when they imagine untouched Australia, quiet, harmless, almost comic in its simplicity. And it is here, just beneath that glassy surface, that one of nature's strangest survivors moves with a precision that contradicts every cartoon drawing ever made of it. The platypus surfaces in silence, barely making a ripple, its bill glistening, its fur beading water perfectly as if coated in oil. The creature looks gentle, even awkward, with that improbable snout and those soft, rounded eyes. It is easy to assume this is a harmless oddity, a biological joke. But the only people who believe that are the ones who have never felt the spurs. The male platypus carries on each hind leg a sharp keratinous spur connected to a venom gland buried deep within its thigh. In normal circumstances, these glands sit quiet, unnoticed, doing nothing. But as the austral spring edges into summer and hormones surge, those glands begin to swell and fill, the ducts thickening as the animal prepares for the one season when it must fight. Inside that venom is a complex cocktail of peptides and proteins, some unique to the platypus, some similar to those found in snakes and spiders. When injected, the result is not paralysis or necrosis, but something more insidious. A deep, radiating pain that defies normal treatment. Victims, usually dogs that have tried to grab a platypus in shallow water, are left staggering, their limbs swollen, hot and useless for days or weeks. Humans who have been stung describe the pain as something that drills into bone, immune to morphine. It is a weapon that evolution shaped not for hunting, but for dominance. Yet the river gives no hint of this violence. The platypus dives again, bill sweeping slowly along the submerged gravel. What looks like a clumsy paddle of limbs is actually a coordinated system. The front feet generate thrust, the back feet steer, and the tail stabilizes the body's pitch. The bill itself is not a nose, not a mouth, but a sensory platform capable of detecting faint electrical signals produced by the muscle contractions of prey. Every twitch of a crayfish, every pulse from a buried insect larva, every vibration from a small fish hiding beneath a stone. These are mapped instantly onto the platypus's brain through an electroreception network that rivals anything found in sharks. Down here, sight is irrelevant. The animal closes its eyes, ears, and nostrils when it dives. It hunts by reading the invisible world, navigating through currents of electricity. As the platypus glides beneath a half-submerged log, the camera follows closely, shifting to capture the fine bubbles rising from its fur and the way its bill brushes along the mud. It is in these moments that we see how ancient this lineage really is. Monotremes, egg-laying mammals, split from the rest of the mammal family tree more than 160 million years ago, before placentals and marsupials diverged. They have no external ears. Their temperature regulation is looser, hovering around 32 degrees, rather than the 37 degrees typical for most mammals. And their reproductive strategy is a relic from a time when dinosaurs ruled the southern hemisphere. The platypus is not a novelty. It is a survivor of an age that vanished long before humans learned to shape stone. Even the burrows they dig reflect this mix of ancient lineage and modern adaptation. At the riverbank, beneath a wall of roots and ferns, is an entrance no wider than a child's hand. Inside, the tunnel snakes upward, often for 10 meters or more, designed to stay above flood level even during heavy rains. The nesting chambers deeper inside are lined with wet vegetation that holds humidity and slows heat loss, critical for incubating the leathery eggs the female will curl around, pressing them against her warm abdomen. She will leave the burrow only to forage, sealing the entrance behind her with plugs of soil to trap moisture and maintain temperature. It is a delicate architecture, vulnerable to foxes that dig out tunnels or floodwaters that collapse the ceiling. In recent years, domestic dogs have become a more frequent threat, drawn to the scent of movement within the bank. Back in the river, the male resurfaces again, shaking droplets from his fur. In the breeding season, males often patrol overlapping territories, their paths crossing in narrow channels or at the mouths of tributaries. When two males meet, the confrontation is silent. There is no snarling, no roaring, no visual threat display. Instead, the combat unfolds in sudden, violent bursts. They twist in the water, gripping each other with their forelimbs, rolling like tangled rope. It is during this underwater wrestling that the spurs come into play. The male drives his hind leg forward like a hooked blade, stabbing toward his rival's abdomen or limbs. The spur does not slice, it punctures, and with each puncture comes a dose of venom strong enough to make even a healthy adult male retreat. The loser, if injected deeply, may spend days immobilized, unable to forage efficiently, falling behind in the race to claim breeding rights. The fights are not lethal, but the consequences shape territory and dictate which male passes on his genes. For humans, the danger is almost always accidental. A platypus caught in a fishing line or tangled in a net thrashes desperately, the spurs extending as the animal tries to twist free. People who attempt to rescue a struggling platypus often grab it around the tail or torso, forgetting that the hind legs can reach almost any angle. The spur strikes quickly, pain spreads, swelling rises in minutes. There are cases of full-grown adults unable to move their arms for weeks after a single sting. Wildlife authorities across Australia warn the same thing: never pick up a platypus, even if it looks injured. Their defense is not a bluff, but danger is only a small part of the platypus's story. The animal is also a keystone participant in the rivers it inhabits. By diving and sifting through sediment, it aerates the substrate, uproots microvegetation, and creates tiny disturbances that allow insect larvae and small crustaceans to occupy new spaces. Its feeding activity influences where algae grow, how nutrient pockets shift along the riverbed, and where juvenile fish find shelter. Even the burrows contribute to the ecosystem. Abandoned tunnels become dens for water rats or shelters for frogs during dry periods. The platypus is not just a curiosity, it is an engineer of freshwater microhabitats. As the camera pans wider, the river reveals its full dynamic. Kingfishers darting from branches, eels spiraling through deeper pools, long-necked turtles paddling toward the shade. These species interact indirectly with the platypus, competing for food in some seasons and sharing resources in others. During drought years, when streams shrink to isolated pockets, competition intensifies. Water rats become bolder, sometimes attempting to ambush juvenile platypuses at night. Foxes patrol the banks, digging at burrows. Yet the platypus persists, adjusting foraging times, shifting territories, and using the cover of darkness to stay one step ahead of its predators. By late afternoon, golden light filters through the canopy, striking the surface of the river in scattered beams. The platypus emerges again, this time close to the opposite bank, where reeds sway in a gentle current. It feeds for hours, making dozens of short dives, storing insects and crustaceans in cheek pouches before chewing them at the surface. The behavior is methodical and unhurried, a far cry from the violent confrontations of breeding time. That duality, shy and harmless one moment, armed and formidable the next, is part of what makes the species so misunderstood. To most people, the platypus is a symbol of Australian oddity, an animal too strange to take seriously. Yet beneath that reputation lies a creature finely tuned to its environment, equipped with evolutionary tools that are anything but comical. As dusk settles, the male slips back into the darkening waters, leaving behind only faint rings that ripple toward the shore. The river returns to silence, the surface once again calm and unassuming. And this is the quiet truth the chapter leaves us with. Some of the most unusual animals on Earth survive not because they are harmless curiosities, but because they possess defenses as sharp and uncompromising as the landscapes they inhabit. The platypus may look like a joke stitched together from spare parts, but in the cold water of Australia's rivers, it is a creature built to win, armed with senses that pierce murky depths and venom that humbles anything foolish enough to underestimate it. It is not a mascot, it is a survivor. And in a continent where resilience determines everything, that makes it one of the most remarkable animals alive. The Australian bush at dawn is still cool, the air heavy with the scent of eucalyptus oil drifting from grey-green canopies overhead. Sunlight filters through in fractured shards, scattering across the forest floor and catching in pockets of dust and pollen. A gentle breeze rolls through the treetops, setting leaves trembling in a muted shimmer that feels almost hypnotic. High above that quiet world, clinging to the smooth trunk of a gum tree, is an animal that has become global shorthand for innocence. Soft-furred, round-faced, half asleep, and wholly unthreatening. The koala sits motionless, eyes half closed, the image of calm itself. People call them cute, docile, harmless. But this tranquility is an illusion built from distance. Move closer, too close, and the illusion collapses instantly. Because beneath that teddy bear mask are weapons sharp enough to open flesh like wet paper. As the camera rises along the trunk, a close-up reveals what most viewers never truly see: the koala's hands. Each forepaw ends in long, curved claws that gleam in the morning light. Not dull hooks, but narrow blades grown for a single purpose: anchoring into bark. The koala's grip is a mechanical vice. Two opposing thumbs allow for powerful pinch forces, and each finger is tipped with keratin that hasn't been softened by running or digging. These claws are designed to pierce through the dense, fibrous sheath of eucalyptus trees, which means human skin offers almost no resistance at all. When a koala lashes out, the result isn't a shallow scratch. It's a deep, parallel set of gouges carved with the strength of a climber that spends its life hauling its weight up vertical surfaces. The animal shifts its position slightly, pressing claws into the trunk and pulling itself upward with a smooth, practiced motion. The muscles in its forearms ripple subtly beneath the fur. Those muscles, flexors and digital tendons, evolved to support continuous climbing, are far stronger than they appear. Koalas may look heavy and slow, but they can ascend a tree trunk in seconds when threatened. They can lunge forward with surprising speed. They can clamp down with their limbs and hold struggling rivals in place during fights. What humans perceive as laziness is actually energy optimization in an animal living on nutrient-poor leaves. But when adrenaline rises, that supposedly sleepy body switches into a sharp, decisive weapon. On the ground, people rarely see where those claws can go. A rescue worker approaches a stranded koala, after a storm has dropped a tree across a road. The animal is sitting in the branches, dazed but unharmed. The worker moves gently, slow movements, low voice, a towel ready to wrap around the koala's body. But as soon as the hands reach close, the koala stiffens. Its pupils widen. Stress surges through a creature that evolved to interpret any approach as predatory. The claws arc forward with a suddenness that shatters the myth of the cuddly marsupial. A single swing cuts open the rescuer's forearm, leaving a deep, bleeding gash. This is not aggression for pleasure. It is pure survival instinct triggered by panic, a reaction hardwired by millions of years of predation pressure from eagles, pythons, and ground predators. Koalas do not seek conflict, but stress turns them volatile. Handling, even when gentle, overloads their nervous system. Their heart rate spikes, their breathing becomes shallow, and the fight response ramps up quickly. Wildlife carers understand this intimately. That is why they use thick towels, why they cover a koala's head, why they never, ever approach from below or grab around the belly. They know the claws can rake across a face, latch onto an arm, or clamp around a wrist with a climbing grip that is almost impossible to break without causing further harm. Professional carers restrain koalas with a technique that immobilizes the limbs safely while keeping the animal's line of sight blocked. Anything less, and the risk of severe injury is immediate. The camera follows a wild koala as it navigates along a branch, peeling off a bundle of eucalyptus leaves and chewing with slow, deliberate movements. The jaws move rhythmically, revealing teeth built for shearing fibrous leaves. Though koalas do not have the crushing bite force of carnivores, their incisors and premolars can still inflict serious wounds. When startled, they snap forward with a noisy, defensive bite, aiming for whatever part of the perceived threat is closest. Rescue workers, hikers, and even dogs have been on the receiving end of these bites, which can be deep enough to require stitches. And because koalas carry a range of bacterial communities in their mouths, untreated wounds can easily become infected. But perhaps the most unexpected danger lies deeper, inside the koala's biology. Many wild populations carry chlamydia pecorum, a bacterial infection that has devastated koala numbers across Australia. It causes infertility, blindness, urinary tract infections, and in severe cases, a painful swelling of the bladder known as dirty tail. While human infection from koalas is rare, it is possible under specific circumstances, usually involving exposure to urine, secretions, or broken skin contact during handling. For wildlife carers, this risk is real. They wear gloves and long sleeves not only to avoid physical injury, but to protect themselves from zoonotic transmission in situations where stress causes the koala to urinate or struggle violently. This intersection of stress, disease, and defensive behavior creates a complex challenge for conservation work. Koalas are frequently injured by cars, dog attacks, or habitat loss. Many must be relocated during bushfires or extreme heat waves. Yet every intervention risks triggering aggression or worsening the animal's physical condition. Carers must move with precision, reducing sensory overload, using towels to simulate the pressure of a tree trunk, a technique that calms the koala by giving it something stable to cling to. The towel becomes both shield and tool, allowing the handler to control the limbs while preventing claws from making contact with skin. The goal is to minimize suffering while navigating the biological reality that a stressed koala is not a gentle creature, but a powerful climber with weapons it does not hesitate to use. As the koala shifts to a new branch, the camera widens to reveal the larger forest environment. The eucalyptus canopy is not uniform. It is a patchwork of species, each with its own chemical profile. Koalas are highly selective feeders, choosing leaves not only based on flavor, but on toxicity. Eucalyptus contains volatile oils and tannins that would be lethal to many mammals. Yet koalas manage these toxins through specialized liver enzymes and a unique gut microbiome. Their slow metabolism and extended sleep cycles, often up to 20 hours a day, are strategies to conserve energy while processing this chemically challenging diet. The sleepiness that humans interpret as cuteness is actually a delicate physiological balancing act. These ecological dynamics influence their behavior in ways viewers rarely consider. A koala forced to move too often by dogs, humans, habitat fragmentation, or relocation uses energy it cannot easily replace. That energy deficit increases stress. Increased stress increases aggression. It also suppresses immune function, making chlamydia outbreaks more lethal and more widespread. The cascading effect means every unnecessary interaction with humans has biological costs that stretch far beyond a single incident. The chapter shifts to a nighttime view. A male koala climbs down the trunk, moving with quiet precision, heading toward another tree. His deep, resonant bellow rolls through the forest, a guttural call that travels surprising distances, announcing his presence to rivals. These bellows are not gentle sounds. They vibrate like a distant generator, exposing a side of koalas rarely seen in tourist brochures. When males fight, the claws become decisive. They wrestle on branches, trying to dislodge each other, raking their limbs across backs, shoulders, and faces. The goal is not death, but dominance, control of feeding territory, and access to females. The scars that trace across many wild koalas tell these stories clearly. Long parallel streaks, healed punctures, bite marks. These animals do not live soft lives. As dawn returns, the camera settles once more on a lone female perched in the crook of a tree. She is calm now, resting, the forest quiet around her. But the message is clear. The koala's peaceful appearance hides a toolkit built for climbing survival in a landscape that demands strength, caution, and aggression when necessary. The claws that let her anchor into smooth bark can also slice open an arm. The bite built for shearing leaves can tear through skin. The diseases shaped by dense populations and stressed ecosystems can pass across species boundaries. And the stress of handling, so often caused by well-meaning people, can turn a gentle animal into a flurry of defensive violence in seconds. The final shot holds on her face, soft and rounded, eyes half-lidded as if drifting towards sleep. She looks innocent, even sweet. But the chapter leaves viewers with the truth. In Australia, the gap between appearance and reality is often wide enough to draw blood. The koala is no plush toy. It is a climber armed with precision tools, evolved to survive in a harsh, chemical-rich canopy. And anyone who reaches out a hand without understanding that is inviting a lesson written in claw marks. The Australian night begins quietly in eucalyptus woodland. Moonlight settles across open grass patches and slips between tree trunks in pale fragments, revealing a landscape shaped as much by absence as presence, hollows in the soil, fresh earth piled in mounds, tunnels invisible except for a sag in the ground. These are the highways, shelters, and strongholds of an animal that most people only ever glimpse as a blur crossing a back road or a lump dozing beneath a fallen log. To outsiders, wombats look like living boulders, round, fuzzy creatures with the face of a plush toy. But beneath that harmless silhouette lies one of the most deceptively powerful mammal designs on Earth, a compact, muscular excavator built like a low-slung tank, equipped with enough force to break bones, overturn dogs, and crush predators in the narrow dark of its own tunnels. The chapter opens on a wombat emerging from its burrow just after dusk. The camera follows the creature closely, revealing the real architecture of its body. The torso is dense and barrel-shaped, supported by robust limbs that end in claws sharp enough to rip apart compacted soil. The shoulders and forearms are thick with muscle, giving the animal a low center of gravity ideal for digging. Along the spine, powerful back muscles run like cables, anchoring the frame and allowing it to push with its whole weight. But the most striking structure lies at the rear, a broad, flattened rump reinforced by a plate of cartilage and bone. This natural shield is not soft or yielding. It is dense, almost rock-like, an evolutionary battering ram designed to exploit the shape of wombat burrows. Wombat tunnels are not simple holes. They are engineered spaces. Each burrow slopes downward at an angle, then levels into multiple chambers that hold pockets of cool air. The walls are smooth, packed tightly by decades of excavation, and the ceilings curve into arcs just low enough that a wombat's back nearly brushes the top. Inside this confined environment, that reinforced rump becomes a weapon. When a predator, typically a dingo or fox, tries to follow a wombat into the burrow, the wombat dives forward and positions itself just inside the tunnel's narrowing throat. Then, using its immense leg strength, it drives backward with explosive force, pinning the intruder against the roof. An animal caught in this squeeze finds itself crushed between unyielding earth and an armored wall of muscle and cartilage. Wildlife researchers and farmers have documented foxes found dead in tunnels, skulls fractured, ribs broken. Dogs that pursue wombats underground are sometimes found with crushed muzzles or severe internal injuries. The wombat's defense is not mythology, it is physics. Above ground, the creature's power is less hidden. The camera holds on a male grazing in a patch of open grasses, calm, slow-moving, seemingly indifferent to the world around it. But wombats are sprinters when they need to be. In a sudden demonstration, the animal bolts toward a patch of shrubs, its short legs pumping in rapid bursts, capable of reaching speeds over 40 kilometers per hour. The movement is jarring, a creature shaped like a stone accelerating like a dropped weight. If a human or dog stands in the way, the impact can be devastating. Rangers and rescue workers recount cases of people knocked off their feet, winded or bruised by the hit, and in some instances left with broken bones. A charging wombat is not malicious. It is simply unwilling to deviate from its chosen path. When cornered, this usually solitary marsupial becomes even more dangerous. Wombats rely on proximity to burrows for safety. If a human approaches too closely, especially mothers with dependent young, the animal's stress rises fast. It lifts its head, stiffens its body, and if escape seems blocked, it lunges. The bite alone can be severe. Wombats have large incisors similar to those of rodents, continuously growing and capable of slicing through roots and hard vegetation. Those same teeth can cut through skin, tear muscle, and inflict long, deep wounds. Even a single defensive snap from a frightened wombat can require stitches. And because they spend their lives in soil dense with bacteria, those bites carry a high infection risk. Yet most incidents do not come from aggression. They come from misjudgment. Tourists who attempt to pet wombats during the day, unaware that daytime is rest time, often get the same reception someone would get if they woke a sleeping weightlifter by grabbing their arm. The animal reacts instantly, driven by instinct rather than thought. Others approach wombats feeding at night, hoping for a photo, forgetting that the animal's eyesight is limited and its trust threshold even lower. A startled wombat may flee, may freeze, or may charge in a straight, unyielding line that leads directly through whatever stands in front of it. The camera transitions to a roadside at dusk. A sign warns drivers to slow down for wildlife. Wombats, with their low profiles and dark fur, are notoriously difficult to see at night. Their weight, often 25 to 35 kilograms, means that collisions can be catastrophic for both parties. Cars hitting wombats at high speed frequently sustain severe damage. The wombat's dense body absorbs impact like a compact sandbag. In many rural areas, rescue teams monitor roads specifically for injured wombats and orphaned joeys. A female killed in a collision may still have a young joey alive inside her pouch, requiring immediate extraction and round-the-clock care. These grim realities reveal another side of the wombat, an animal shaped by evolutionary resilience but highly vulnerable to a modern world built around speed and steel. Back in the forest, the chapter shifts focus to the burrow system, one of the wombat's greatest ecological contributions. These structures are not simple shelters. They reshape the landscape for dozens of other species. Echidnas use abandoned burrows during cold spells. Reptiles retreat into them during bushfires, surviving heat that would otherwise be lethal. Small birds nest in collapsed sections where grasses accumulate. Wallabies shelter in the shade around burrow entrances. Even insects and soil microbes thrive within the microclimates wombats carve into the earth. Each burrow is a small environmental engine, modifying temperature, moisture retention, and soil structure in ways that ripple outward into the broader ecosystem. The wombat itself is shaped by its underground world. The camera enters a burrow, showing the cross-sectional layers, compacted soil, root mats woven like nets, moisture pockets that hold cool air. Here, the wombat's body temperature remains stable, even during scorching heat waves. Below ground, its metabolism slows, conserving energy and water. Wombats rarely drink from open sources. They extract almost all their moisture from grasses and roots, aided by an exceptionally slow digestive process that can take days. This slow gut transit allows them to break down fibrous plants and absorb nutrients efficiently. It also explains another unique trait: cube-shaped droppings. The shape is not a novelty. It helps the wombat mark territory on sloped surfaces without the pellets rolling away. These territorial markers form part of a larger communication system, allowing wombats to identify neighbors, detect reproductive status, and navigate shared landscapes. The chapter returns to a nighttime scene. A wombat pauses near a rocky outcrop, sniffing the wind. A fox emerges from the scrub, drawn by scent and hunger. The fox moves cautiously, stepping forward with measured strides, evaluating the potential prey. The wombat appears oblivious, still grazing, but the moment the fox closes the distance, the wombat bolts, not toward open ground, but toward the safety of its burrow. The predator gives chase, gaining ground with each stride. The wombat disappears into the tunnel just as the fox lunges. The fox follows halfway, jaws open, and then the maneuver. Inside the dark, the wombat braces its legs, locks its spine, and drives backward with crushing power. Dust erupts from the tunnel roof. The fox recoils, scrambling to escape, but the confined space offers no room to maneuver. The wombat pushes again, slow, steady, unyielding. This is not a frantic battle. It is controlled force applied in the perfect biomechanical setting. When the fox finally retreats, limping, The message is unmistakable. The burrow is not a trap for the wombat. It is a fortress. Morning comes with a soft orange glow rising over the gum trees. A wombat returns to its burrow entrance after a night of feeding. It pauses, looking almost peaceful, framed by leaves and soft light. But the story lingers in the landscape around it. The deep tunnels, the crushed predators, the broken bones of careless encounters, the ecological webs that radiate from every burrow. The wombat's power is not theatrical. It is structural, carved into every part of its anatomy and behavior. Underestimate it, and you find out quickly why this cute potato has survived for millions of years in a continent full of predators and environmental extremes. The chapter closes on the wombat disappearing underground, its solid rear vanishing last into the darkness. The earth settles, the entrance becomes still. Beneath the surface, in the labyrinth, it built with muscle and claw, Australia's quiet tank waits out the day, unassuming, essential, and far more formidable than its gentle appearance suggests. Morning breaks over Rottnest Island in soft golden light, spilling across limestone outcrops and rolling dunes covered in low, hardy vegetation. Salt carried from the Indian Ocean hangs in the air, and the quiet, rhythmic wash of waves against rock sets a calm foundation for the day. As the sun climbs, the island shifts. Ferries arrive from the mainland. Cyclists rattle along narrow roads. Tourists stream toward beaches, bays, and inland trails. And in the center of this rising commotion, an animal moves with a confidence few island species ever develop. Small, rounded, and curious, with a face that seems to curl permanently into a smile. The quokka steps out from shade and into the light, a living emblem of cute, a creature whose expression launched it into global fame. But fame can distort truth, and the truth is that behind that charming facade lies a wild marsupial with strong incisors, lightning-fast reflexes, and zero tolerance for careless hands or inappropriate food. The camera settles on a quokka hopping across a path, its gait a mix of bounding and deliberate pauses. The animal's proportions are compact: powerful hind legs, a stout body, sharp claws, and a head that seems almost sculpted for uplifted moods. The so-called smile is not a display of joy, but a structural consequence of facial musculature and jaw shape. Yet, in an era shaped by social media, that simple curve became the spark for a global trend. Tourists began seeking quokka selfies, photos taken at close distances, often with their faces pushed toward the animals. These images, widely shared and relentlessly positive, transformed the quokka from a little-known island herbivore into a digital icon. Rottnest Island became as famous for its marsupials as for its beaches, but camera angles conceal a crucial truth. Quokkas are not domesticated. They are not trained. They are not pets. They are wild animals with instincts honed by survival in an environment where fresh water is scarce, food quality fluctuates, and predation risk, historically from eagles and snakes, is very real. Their friendliness is not affection. It is boldness, developed in the absence of large terrestrial predators and reinforced by generations of exposure to humans who offer easy food. That boldness has limits, and when those limits are crossed, quokkas defend themselves the same way any wild animal does, through bites. A close-up shows the quokka's mouth as it grazes on native vegetation. Its incisors are long, sharp, and built for shearing fibrous plant matter. The jaw muscles are surprisingly strong for such a small animal, allowing it to process dense stems and leaves. A nip delivered by those incisors is not a harmless scrape. It is a fast, deep pinch capable of breaking skin and drawing blood. Quokkas bite to warn. They bite when grabbed. They bite when cornered. And they bite without hesitation when someone attempts to hand-feed them food that is unfamiliar, overwhelming, or delivered too close to the face. Dozens of bite incidents occur every year, many requiring medical cleaning or antibiotics. Some leave scars. Tourists, misled by the animal's smiling appearance, often crouch too close or attempt to lure quokkas with snacks, chips, crackers, fruit, bread. To the quokka, these items are dangerously inappropriate foods. Their digestive systems evolved to handle tough coastal vegetation and seasonal shifts in nutrient density. High sugar and processed foods wreak havoc on their metabolism. A quokka's belly that looks adorably round in a selfie may in reality be distended from gas buildup, gut inflammation, or malnutrition caused by human feeding. Wildlife researchers have documented cases where quokkas weakened by poor nutrition became more susceptible to disease and predation. The bloating often seen in tourists' photos is not a sign of contentment. It is a warning disguised as charm. The camera pulls back to show the island's vegetation, acacias, grasses, and salt-tolerant shrubs shaped by coastal winds. Quokkas are selective feeders within this landscape, choosing plants that match their physiological needs. They rely on fermentation in the gut to extract nutrients from fibrous diets. When sweet or fatty foods are introduced, this delicate microbial balance collapses. Instead of slow, efficient fermentation, the gut can bloat with gas, causing discomfort, metabolic distress, and, in severe cases, life-threatening complications. Rangers on Rottnest Island confront these outcomes regularly. Dehydrated quokkas with stomach issues, individuals unable to move properly, or animals suffering from infections that flourish when diet-related stress compromises their immune systems. Yet what often triggers conflict is not food, but touch. As tourists approach, the quokka may stand upright, sniff the air, or hop closer out of curiosity, but this is not an invitation to be handled. In the wild, touch often signals aggression or predation. A hand reaching toward the quokka's back triggers instinctive avoidance, and if escape routes are limited, the quokka may leap forward with a bite to the nearest exposed area. The speed catches many by surprise. The infection risk is real, not because quokkas are unusually disease-ridden, but because any wild animal bite introduces bacteria and breaks the skin barrier. Rottnest Island enforces strict rules. No touching, no feeding, no chasing. Fines are substantial, not for theatrics, but because the welfare of both animal and human depends on maintaining respectful distance. Night falls on Rottnest Island, and the camera pans to show quokkas moving through darker habitats, scrublands, thickets, areas far from the daytime crowds. Here their natural rhythms take over. They travel longer distances, forage more selectively, and engage in social interactions that tourists rarely witness. Soft grunts, foot thumps, and subtle body postures reveal communication strategies that have nothing to do with smiling, but everything to do with maintaining territory, avoiding conflict, and securing mates. A dominant male may chase a rival through low shrubs, using sharp hind claws to assert boundaries. Females with young at foot guide their joeys towards safe feeding grounds. In these moments, the quokka is no caricature. It is a competent, adaptable herbivore, navigating complex ecological pressures. Rottnest Island itself shapes much of this behavior. Isolation protected the quokka from extinction, while mainland populations declined rapidly due to predation by foxes and habitat loss. On the island, lack of ground predators allowed quokkas to forage more openly and rely more on flightless evasion strategies. They remain agile climbers on fallen logs and branches and can leap surprising distances when startled. Their survival strategy is not built around aggression, but cautious boldness. Approach, assess, retreat if needed. This mix of curiosity and independence is often misread as tameness, but it is simply ecological conditioning. Without large carnivores on the island, quokkas evolved a broader tolerance for movement around them. The chapter shifts to a busy trail during midday. Tourists cluster around a quokka sitting near a bicycle rack. Phones rise, faces lean closer. The animal stays still, waiting for crumbs to drop or for an opportunity to investigate a water bottle left on the ground. But the moment a hand reaches toward its head, it withdraws sharply, bears incisors in a half-snarl that few people notice, and darts under a bench. A ranger approaches, reminding the crowd of the rules. The quokka's reaction underscores a truth that needs repeating. Wild animals allow proximity. They do not grant permission. Further inland, the camera reveals quokka shelters, dense vegetation patches, hollow logs, and the shade beneath tea trees. Quokkas use these spaces to regulate temperature. Their thick fur traps warmth during cooler nights, but during hot afternoons, overheating becomes a real danger. Quokkas seek shade and minimize movement to conserve energy and water. Human disturbance during these rest periods increases stress and forces activity at times when thermoregulation is critical. This can lead to dehydration, exhaustion, and disruptions in feeding schedules. Even unintentional harassment, approaching too closely, blocking escape routes, or forcing the quokka to move repeatedly for photographs, can have physiological consequences. Back on the coast, waves crash against limestone cliffs as the sun begins to set. A quokka emerges from a shrub thicket and hops toward a patch of fresh grass, pausing to assess its surroundings. In this calm, natural setting, its smile looks less like a crafted expression and more like a functional part of a body perfectly adapted to its environment. Here, away from artificial snacks and trailing hands, the quokka reveals itself as a resilient survivor shaped by isolation, resource scarcity, and centuries of ecological balancing. It is not a plush toy. It is a small herbivore with sharp teeth, fast reflexes, and instincts that have preserved its lineage through challenges far greater than a tourist's camera. The chapter closes with a single quokka perched beside a trail at dusk. The air cools. The last ferry leaves the island. Silence returns to Rottnest, broken only by wind passing through coastal shrubs. The quokka looks up, seemingly smiling, but this time the audience knows better. The expression is not an invitation. It is not friendliness, it is simply biology, and biology demands respect. If the world's happiest animal has a lesson to offer, it is this. Appearances can mislead, even dangerously so. To protect wildlife and ourselves, we must keep distance, resist the urge to touch, and remember that even the gentlest face may hide the teeth of a survivor. Mist gathers before sunrise in the cloud-soaked mountains of northern Australia and New Guinea. The rainforest canopy hangs especially low here, swollen with moisture, its branches woven into a dense, shadowed ceiling above the forest floor. Sunlight doesn't pour into this world, it leaks in through seams, thin beams sifting down between leaves, catching on water droplets suspended in the still morning air. Far above ground, a shape moves with surprising confidence along a mossy branch. Thick fur, rounded face, plush coloration, that makes it look more like a toy than a wild animal. This is the tree kangaroo, an arboreal specialist that quietly dismantles the assumption that kangaroos belong only on open plains. Perched 30 meters above the ground, it looks soft, slow, almost clumsy, but appearances collapse the moment it moves. The camera shifts close as the tree kangaroo climbs upward. Each forepaw spreads wide, revealing long, powerful claws, curved like climbing hooks, sharp enough to sink deep into bark. Unlike their terrestrial relatives, tree kangaroos have forelimbs nearly as strong as their hind legs, a necessity for navigating the vertical world. Their shoulders rotate with astonishing flexibility, allowing them to hug trunks and pull themselves upward with steady, muscular precision. Thick pads on their paws grip slick moss. Their tails, long, heavy, used like a counterweight, swing subtly behind them, stabilizing each movement. This is not a kangaroo pretending to be arboreal. It is a marsupial sculpted over millions of years into a dedicated tree dweller. From its vantage point in the canopy, the tree kangaroo surveys a realm few animals patrol with such ease. Down below, the forest floor is a dark ocean of ferns and tangled roots. Up here, branches form bridges between emergent trees, corridors used by possums, birds, and gliders. Tree kangaroos navigate these pathways with a confidence that defies their seemingly bulky build. They climb as easily as they breathe, and when they need to escape, they don't climb down, they drop. A sudden rustle echoes across the canopy. The tree kangaroo freezes for a moment, ears twitching. It then makes a choice that would horrify any human. It leaps downward. Not gracefully, not with wings or gliding membranes, just a full-body plunge through empty space. It drops 15 meters, hits a lower branch with a thud, rebounds, hits another, then twists and lands on the forest floor in a controlled crouch. What looks like a catastrophic fall is, for the tree kangaroo, a survival move. Their dense bones, shock-absorbing joints, and thick musculature allow them to absorb impacts that would shatter human legs. Researchers have documented tree kangaroos surviving falls up to 18 meters without serious injury. Some individuals have been observed intentionally dropping from branches to escape predators or aggressive rivals, trusting their anatomy to handle the violence of gravity. That same ability makes them dangerous in close quarters. A tree kangaroo cornered on the ground is not an animal anyone wants near their legs or arms. Their hind feet, designed for gripping uneven bark, can deliver powerful kicks. Their foreclaws can rake deep wounds in an instant. Much like terrestrial kangaroos, they prefer to flee rather than fight. But when escape routes are blocked, especially in captivity or rescue scenarios, they lash out with startling strength. Wildlife rehabilitators know the risks intimately. A tree kangaroo may seem docile one moment, calm enough to perch on a branch during medical examination, yet explode into a flurry of claws the next if startled by a sudden sound or unfamiliar movement. Many carers wear thick gloves and position themselves carefully to avoid the animal's forward kicks, which can arc upward with enough force to bruise ribs or tear skin. The camera shifts deeper into the canopy, revealing the towering structure of the rainforest. Each layer is alive with competition. Sunlight is scarce. Only the highest branches receive enough energy to fuel abundant leaf growth. Tree kangaroos rely heavily on this upper world for food, feeding on young leaves, fruits and flowers that flourish near the canopy. They must travel widely to find patches where new growth appears. This nomadic foraging behavior makes them vulnerable to habitat fragmentation. A gap of even 30 meters between forest patches becomes a life-threatening divide. A plains kangaroo could cross easily, but a tree kangaroo, adapted for climbing rather than sprinting, struggles on open ground, where predators once lurked and heat stress becomes a serious danger. In the wild, their biggest threats come from dingoes, pythons, and large birds of prey, but larger threats now come from deforestation. As the rainforest splinters into isolated fragments, tree kangaroos lose the vertical pathways they rely on. They are forced to descend more often, crossing the forest floor, exposing themselves to dogs, vehicles, and hunters. Every descent is a risk. Every gap between trees is a barrier carved by human presence. Endangered species like the Matschia's tree kangaroo have seen their ranges shrink dramatically. Their populations plummet, not due to a single catastrophic event, but through a slow, grinding erosion of habitat. Yet, even in the face of these pressures, tree kangaroos remain remarkably capable animals. Their sensitivity to temperature allows them to navigate the rainforest's microclimates with skill. Thick fur insulates them from cool, mist-heavy mornings. The deep canopy shade keeps them from overheating during humid afternoons. Their digestive systems can process a varied diet, extracting nutrients from tough leaves while supplementing with seasonal fruits and flowers. When climbing, their muscles distribute weight evenly, a structural advantage that protects them during falls. Their tails serve not just as counterweights, but as stabilizers during jumps. In every movement, their adaptations reveal a creature designed for the vertical world. But the same adaptations that keep them alive in the trees become liabilities when humans intrude. Rescue workers often must retrieve injured individuals trapped on the ground after vehicle collisions or dog attacks. Handling these stressed animals is dangerous. A fearful tree kangaroo may thrash with its claws, leap unpredictably, or attempt to climb anything nearby, including the arms and shoulders of the person holding it. Their grip is intense. Their claws are engineered to pierce bark. Skin offers no resistance. Even experienced carers sometimes emerge from rescues with long, raking wounds across their arms or thighs. These incidents are not aggression in the human sense. They are pure panic, the reaction of an animal hardwired to escape upward at all costs. The chapter transitions to a nest hollow high in a massive rainforest tree. A female tree kangaroo rests inside, grooming her forearms. A young joey peers out of her pouch, blinking at the filtered light beyond. The juxtaposition is striking. The tenderness of maternal care housed within a species capable of violent bursts of power when threatened. The joey, still unsteady, practices climbing movements against the walls of the hollow. In time, it will follow its mother through the canopy, learning to cling to branches, gauge distances, and, eventually, make its first fall. The joey's survival depends on mastering this vertical world quickly. Every leap in the canopy is a test of instinct. Every fall is a lesson in trust. The ecological role of tree kangaroos extends beyond their own branches. As they move from tree to tree, they disperse seeds through droppings, influencing forest regeneration patterns. They prune select plant species, shaping canopy dynamics. Their climbing routes become corridors used by smaller animals. Their presence in the ecosystem hints at biodiversity health. When tree kangaroos thrive, the canopy is connected. When they decline, it fragments. These animals do not broadcast their importance with dramatic behavior. They quietly maintain the balance of a world that depends on vertical continuity. As the final light of day sinks behind the mountains, the tree kangaroo prepares to move again. Evening brings cooler air and renewed energy. It climbs to a higher position, gripping the bark with its claws, pausing to scan for threats. Then, in one fluid motion, it leaps, not downward this time, but laterally, sailing from one branch to another across a gap that looks impossible for an animal of its size. The movement is silent, save for the soft rustle of leaves. For a moment, gravity seems to hold its breath. This is the paradox of the tree kangaroo. A creature so endearing that people instinctively want to get close, yet so powerful that closeness can end in injuries for both sides. Its claws, its kicks, its ability to absorb impacts that would cripple other mammals, all are tools meant for survival in a vertical world, not for interaction with humans. Human contact, even well-intentioned, disrupts the delicate physiological and behavioral rhythms that tree kangaroos depend on. Their endangered status reflects how tightly they are bound to intact forests, how quickly they falter when forced to descend, and how critical it is for people to keep their distance. The chapter closes with the tree kangaroo disappearing into the canopy, dissolving into the shadows of the upper branches. Leaves sway gently in its wake, the forest grows quiet, and viewers are left with a simple truth. The cute climber is not a harmless curiosity. It is a master of the treetops, shaped by gravity, danger, and the structure of the rainforest itself. It survives not by softness, but by strength, and if we want it to continue dropping out of the sky, we must give it the space it needs to climb. Just before dawn, the ocean looks deceptively calm. Soft swells lift and sink with slow, rhythmic breaths, rolling toward a pale stretch of sand where the night is retreating. The light is thin at first, blue, wavering, filtered through layers of salt and moisture, revealing only shapes beneath the surface, silhouettes moving with unhurried grace. One of those shapes breaks the waterline. A domed shell rises, followed by a head that seems sculpted for innocence, rounded snout, dark, steady eyes, and the measured stillness of an animal that wastes nothing on panic. This is the green sea turtle, a traveler whose life spans oceans and decades. Everything about it appears calm, gentle, harmless. And that is the illusion that gets people hurt. The turtle draws a slow breath, then sinks again, its front flippers sweeping wide like wings. Underwater, its movements reveal the strength hidden inside that calm exterior. Each stroke is a push against the weight of the ocean, driven by muscles thick as cables. Green sea turtles migrate across thousands of kilometers, crossing currents so strong they can overturn boats. To do that, they rely on flippers capable of explosive acceleration, steering their heavy bodies through swells, reefs, and deep water with precision that rivals any marine mammal. These flippers are not fragile paddles. They are powerful tools that can knock a grown adult backward with a single panicked strike. The camera follows the turtle as it glides over a coral garden. Sunbeams slice through the surface now, illuminating the green algae and epiphytic plants coating its shell. To some snorkelers, these growths look harmless, picturesque even. But the shell's surface houses a living community of algae, barnacles, bacteria, and tiny crustaceans. This layer is part of the turtle's natural ecology, yet it is also a microbial hotspot that should never be touched. Human skin abrasions exposed to these microorganisms can lead to infections, especially when combined with seawater and coral cuts. But tourists rarely think of microbes when they see a creature that looks like a drifting smile. A shallow bay comes into view, its water crystal clear and busy with life. Snorkelers hover above the seagrass, cameras outstretched. A green sea turtle grazes nearby, taking deliberate bites of seagrass and algae. Its beak, a sharp keratin ridge shaped like a pruning tool, slices through plant material with ease. That same beak can crack open hard-shelled creatures when needed. Divers who have witnessed turtles biting through conch shells understand the force involved. What they imagine it would do to a finger is no exaggeration. The beak is not built for nibbling, it is built for cutting, and when a turtle feels threatened, when hands reach toward its face or attempt to grab its shell, it snaps fast. The scene shifts to beach footage. Tourists gather around a nesting female at night, drawn by curiosity. Cameras flash. People step too close. Some kneel to take pictures inches from her face. Others try to help by clearing sand or brushing her shell. But the nesting process is one of the most vulnerable stages in a turtle's life. Stress at this moment can cause a mother to abandon her nesting attempt entirely, returning to sea and leaving dozens of unfertilized eggs behind. Lights disorient her, noise distracts her. Being blocked on the beach, sometimes even unintentionally by crowds, forces her to circle, wasting precious energy she needs for digging and oviposition. The damage is not always visible, but it is cumulative across generations. Then comes the worst behavior, tourists grabbing the turtle's shell. Some try to steer it, others attempt to ride it for a photo, imagining it harmless because the turtle does not scream or thrash visibly. But the absence of noise is not calm, it is shut down. A sea turtle cannot vocalize distress the way mammals do. Instead, it withdraws into a behavioral freeze state, enduring what it cannot escape. Yet when escape becomes possible, especially in water, the turtle reacts with full force. A single thrust of its flippers can knock a snorkeler sideways, rip away a mask, or drive someone into coral where cuts and injuries multiply. In shallow water, panic spreads quickly. People inhale seawater. They scrape against rocks. Flippers and fins entangle. Injuries compound, not because the turtle attacked, but because the human lost control. Feeding turtles is another disaster disguised as kindness. Tourists offer bread, fruit, or scraps of fish, believing they are helping or creating a memorable moment. But feeding alters the turtle's natural foraging patterns, making it dependent on unnatural food sources that disrupt digestion and introduce harmful bacteria. Even worse, feeding changes behavior. Turtles begin approaching boats and people expecting food, losing the natural caution that keeps them safe. Where food accumulates, predators gather. Sharks learn quickly. Sites with frequent turtle feeding show increased shark presence, sometimes dangerously close to shore. The turtle becomes a lure, and the human becomes part of the attraction. The story moves underwater again to a reef drop-off. A snorkeler swims too close to a turtle resting on the seabed. The turtle senses the intrusion and rockets upward with a sudden burst of speed. The snorkeler, startled, thrashes to avoid collision. Fins kick wildly. One foot brushes the turtle's shell. The contact triggers a defensive reaction. The turtle swings its flipper with a force that knocks the snorkeler off balance. In deeper water, this would be a scare. In shallow water, it becomes risk. People fall onto coral, cut their legs, panic, and attempt to stand up, which drives them into breaking waves. Numerous drowning incidents around the world have begun with a harmless interaction, becoming chaotic within seconds. On nesting beaches, another set of dangers unfolds. Hatchlings emerge in frantic bursts, racing toward the surf. Tourists sometimes surround them, photographing from above, blocking their path without realizing it. Humans flatten nesting chambers by walking too close to dune edges. Artificial lights from beachfront buildings lure hatchlings inland, where dehydration, predators, and exhaustion finish the job. A cute moment becomes a mortality event, yet the turtle remains gentle, almost stubbornly so. Its movements are not aggressive. Its interactions with humans are almost always attempts to flee, not fight. The danger lies not in the turtle's temperament, but in misreading that temperament, in projecting softness onto a creature that evolved to survive sharks, storms, and entire ocean basins. The camera widens to reveal the life history of a green sea turtle, a journey that begins as a hatchling sprinting toward the waves, survives oceanic gyres filled with predators, crosses thousands of kilometers following magnetic navigation cues, and ends decades later with a return to the very beach where it hatched. Every moment is a negotiation with risk. Tiger sharks patrolling the shallows, currents that drag juveniles off course, plastic mistaken for jellyfish, fishing nets that entangle them silently. For an animal that spends its life navigating lethal challenges, humans are the one threat it cannot predict, not because humans are dangerous by nature, but because they behave unpredictably and misunderstand what a turtle's calmness means. The turtle rises again to breathe. Light plays across its shell, highlighting the intricate patterns that shift from olive to golden brown. This creature is a symbol of longevity, of oceanic endurance, of quiet persistence. But its gentleness is not permission. Its patience is not tolerance. Every rule that protects sea turtles, no touching, no feeding, no blocking, no flash photography, exists because centuries of coexistence have taught us how quickly things go wrong when curiosity replaces caution. As the sun sets, nesting turtles begin to emerge from the waterline. The camera keeps its distance, observing without intrusion. A female crawls up the sand with slow determination, pauses, and begins to dig her nest. She is ancient in appearance, modern in vulnerability. Humans stand back, watching in respectful silence. No flashes, no crowds, no hands reaching out, just observation. Natural, quiet, safe. The chapter closes with a hatchling crawling toward the ocean, illuminated only by moonlight. The waves catch it and pull it into their rhythm. The narrator's message settles like a final breath. The danger in nature rarely comes from the creatures themselves. It comes from the gap between how we imagine them and what they truly are. The ocean is full of gentle faces. They live in a dangerous world, and they become dangerous only when we forget that.